Hi, this is Mimi. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are working on my reading journal. I'm going to do a quick flip through of January and finish January. I have photos to put in and star stamps to put in, and then we're going to set up for February. So let's get started. So, in the month of January, I read 33 books. I've read 2 more books since then, but I've read 33 books. I had one reread that I wanted. I filled out a bunch in my A to Z challenge. I also read 2 of my 24 and 24, No One Can Know, and Everyone on the Train is a Suspect. Here is my January overview. I need to get different colors. This is what I had upstairs when I filled it out, and it didn't have enough difference for me, so I want to do something different for February. But that's my overview. Everyone happened to fit on this one page, which was really nice. And then I read every single day in January. So let's do a flip through. I started off with The Villain Edit, and I gave it 4 stars. This was before I had my star stamp. No One Can Know. I don't know. Is this one finally out yet? Yes, it released on the 23rd. I read it on the 4th. It was a Book of the Month one. And I bought it on Pango. I don't buy from Book of the Month anymore. I read Meet Me in the Margins. This got 2 stars. Finally Forever, 3 stars. And then Fling, look at it crinkled because I did watercolor on here, and when I glued it down, it crinkled. I'm not happy about it, but it is what it is. Fling by Balin Crow, which I gave 4 stars. The Christmas Veto by Kira Andrews, 2 stars. Sugar and Skull, 2 stars. Hear Me Out by Lila Rose, 4 stars. Lost Boy by Charlie Meadow, 2 stars. Forever His by Jenny Lynn Wire, 1 star. This was horrendous. I'm surprised I finished it. I read a NetGalley arc, Devil's Island by Midge Raymond and John Yunker. I gave it 2 stars. It was not thrillery, and it was a disappointment. The Lies You Wrote, I gave 4 stars. I own it. It's a Kindle book, but I own the Kindle book. I read Lisa Unger's Christmas Presents on Libby, and I gave it 3 stars. I said Dumb Teen Girl, Dumb Adult Woman, okay book. I read The Truth You Told. It was another NetGalley arc. I gave it 3 stars. I did not like the one woman in the book. This was book 2 of this one. This was book 1, book 2. I read The Mistletoe Motive by Chloe Leese, and that was on audio, and I gave it 4 stars. It had enjoyable autism rep. The trope was nothing new, still enjoyed. It was a quick listen. I listen at 3 times speed most of the time, so don't judge me. Dead End Girls by Wendy Hurd. I read this one on Libby, and it gave it 4 stars. It was a YA thriller. It was very good. Meet Me in the Blue by A.M. Johnson. I gave this 4.5 stars. This was an LGBTQ plus romance, and it was a best friend trope on Kindle Unlimited. I absolutely adored this book. It was so good. What Happens After Midnight. It was YA. I don't know, like thriller, romance, mystery. Literary fiction. I don't know what it was. I gave it 4 stars. It was really good. The Amazing Alpha Tau Self-Improvement Project. This got 5 stars. It was a 196-page novella, LGBTQ romance on Kindle Unlimited, and I gave it 5 stars because the main character was freaking amazing. The Housemaid, I gave it 4 stars. I read it on KU. It's by Frida McFadden. This was my most shelved book. I think it was like 80,000+, something like that. I don't know. One Perfect Grave by Stacey Green. Now this is book 2 in the Nikki Hunt series, and I read it on KU. I gave it 3 stars. I do later on in the month read book 1. If you're interested in a new thriller series, this is a decent series. Read book 1 first. Don't do what I did. I read The Amish Wife by Greg Olson. This is a nonfiction. It was my only nonfiction true crime book of January, but I gave it 4 stars. I've also read one other Greg Olson Amish nonfiction, and then there's another one that I wanted to read that is basically like the first part, but it's really not, of this book. And if you're interested in reading this book, you should read the other one first. I don't know what it's called off the top of my head. But look into it if you're interested. It was really good. But I wish I would have read the one that I wanted to read first. I didn't realize it was like a continuation of the story, basically. Okay. So then I read Bone to Pick by May Archer. I gave it 1 star. My KU LGBTQ romance books were some of them were not good this month. And my KU is up this month, and I don't think I usually wait a few months till I renew it. I read The Deep End by Blake R. Wolf. 1 star. I gave it a horrible review on Goodreads, and it deserved every second of that review. Sorry, not sorry. Destructive Relations by Hayden Hall. I don't know what I gave that. But now that I'm down here, I can put the stamp in. And let me check to see what I gave it. I think I gave it a 3. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure. And I think I gave this a 2. I should know this because I literally just looked at it when I was writing everything down, but okay, I was right on the 1. I'm just going to grab whatever color marker because I don't care. You may be asking yourself, why do some of them I do full pages, some of them I do small I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason. A lot of times it is because it's one that I've enjoyed or one that was a reread or... Okay, this was also 3 stars. Okay, and I think... Oh, let me check these 2 so I know. Okay. Alright. This one I had DNF'd months ago, like 35 pages in, and then it still sounded good. I gave it 2 stars. This one was so bad. Look, barely finished. It was so bad. The trope was age gap, billionaire, and daddy, and this dude, not a daddy. Dude sucked. Road of No Return by K.A. American, and this was also KU, LGBTQ plus romance. It was an MC romance, and the whole time I'm reading it, I'm like, this sounds so familiar. Like, I must have read a book just like this. And then 84% in, it hit a certain point that I went, oh yeah, I have read this. But then I was already 84% in, so I kept reading, of course. 13 by Steve Kavanaugh. I'm in the middle of reading all of the Eddie Flynn books. In 2022, I read this one and only this one. And then I started buying all of the Eddie Flynn books, and I had to reread this one because it was number 4. I didn't want to skip it. I wanted to reread it. So this was the only one of the Eddie Flynn I had read. So it's a reread. Scorched Grace by Margot Duai, I guess. 3 stars. I read this on Libby. This one I own, by the way. I read this one on Libby. I saw it was in one of their like top books of the year. I gave it 3 stars. It's about a nun. A lesbian nun. Covered in tattoos. That sounds interesting to you. Trying to solve a crime. That sounds interesting to you. You might like it. I don't remember why I gave it 3 stars. What a Match by Mimi Grace. This was also in somebody's favorite list. I have to look to see what I gave it. I didn't check that one. I forgot. I didn't have it. I think I gave it 3 stars. So this is Nikki Hunt number 3. And I gave this one 4 stars. Okay, this one I think I gave 3. Let me look. I forgot that I didn't have that one. 3. I was right. 3 stars. This one I read on Libby, and like I said, this one was also in somebody's favorites list of 2023. It was okay. The concept is the woman, I can't remember her name, decided it was time to find love, and like went on this and joined this very expensive matchmaking site, and she was just going out on a date every single night. It kind of drove me crazy. Like, give it a rest, girl. Okay, and then I finished off the month with Everyone on This Train is a Suspect. I read it on Hoopla. It was my only Hoopla book this month. The other ones I tried to read, I ended up DNFing. Well, the one, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I try to listen to an audiobook, oh no, it's not going to fit. I'm going to put it down here and write what I wrote up there. Whenever I tried to read an audiobook, listen to an audiobook on Hoopla, it is so bad. It skips. It's horrible. So the first half of this book was so freaking slow for me. And I see so many people saying that they love it more than the first one, and I thought the first one, I gave them both 3 stars, but I thought the first one was a little bit faster paced. I mean, just saying, I thought this one was really slow. And then I gave it 3 stars. So, here are my stats for the end of the month. I read 9,465 pages with 33 books. I read all 31 days. I read 2 physical books, 29 ebooks, and listened to 2 audiobooks. I owned 3 of them. I read 7 on Libby from the library. I read 18 from KU, 1 from Hoopla, and I read 4 NetGalley arcs. My top romance was LGBTQ plus romance. It was 13. I read 13 of those. My next was thriller. I read 12. I read 5 regular romance, 2 YA, and 1 nonfiction. My most shelved was The Housemaid. My least shelved was The Deep End, and that was not including arcs. I didn't include arcs because they're not out yet. So that doesn't really count. For me, anyway. I read, my star ratings were 3 1 stars, 6 2 stars, 8 3 stars, 1 3.5 star, 11 4 stars, 2 4.5 stars, and 2 5 stars. That was my month of reading. Now I want to, I cut a 1.5 inch piece of cardstock, 1 inch by 1.5 inch, and folded it in half, and now I'm just clipping this to make tabs because I want to glue these in. I'm going to use my jelly roll. Hopefully my jelly roll is jelly rolling. Yep, my jelly roll is jelly rolling. So January and February, so I can easily flip to what I need, and we'll go back to the beginning, January, and glue this on. I have to, when I'm done here, I'm just going to end up covering, I'm going to shove it in between there because I don't want to cover the photo. So I glued those 2 together because this is, if you're ever going to do anything where you're painting or coloring or anything in a journal like this, please make sure you get a decent quality journal. I went cheap and I'm regretting it. I regret every second of me getting a cheap one, but I'm cheap. That's what it comes down to. Oh, okay, and I had a 3.2 average star rating. Alright, so let's set up February. I'm going to do my title page. This is a stamp from Temu that I colored in ages ago, and it was in my stash, and I figured, let's just use it for this month for our decoration, so I don't have to do much because I don't have time. this is supposed to go up at midnight. I'm filming it, you know, early in the morning, so I have to edit it, upload it, thumbnail, all that jazz, and I also have to clear off my desk. I finally decided on which camera I was keeping, and the boyfriend and I figured it out. We did a test. The wood grain in my table is screwing with all of my cameras. So I decided to keep the one that looked best, and it was a Logitech camera, and it looked the best, but so I returned the other one that I bought to test out. So no more testing cameras. I'm sure you're happy about that. But my other camera actually broke, so I needed a new camera, and then every time my cameras looked like crap and I couldn't figure it out. And the boyfriend and I figured it out that we think it's the wood grain in the table. Like that maybe they're trying to focus on the wood grain in the table instead of what it's supposed to be focusing on. So we are going to, I'm going to paint my table. So I have to clear my desk off, take my computer upstairs because my son needs to do his taxes this weekend, and for some reason he just wants to use my computer instead of his own. I mean, he's got like a, I don't even want to tell you how much he paid on for his gaming PC. But for some reason he wants to use mine. I need to take this upstairs. Let me put this aside. I don't want to forget. I don't want to have to come back down here after I paint. Alright, so we're going to use this stamp set here and stamp out February, and then I'll probably draw boxes again to track if I read every week, every day. This is also from Temu. Don't come at me for using Temu. I don't really care. I have to do what I can afford to do. Alright. Okay. I'm going to do the same over here for the stats page. Why did I choose the bottom? I don't know, because I did. That's it. I don't know. Alright. I really like this font on this stamp set. Okay, and then we use this one and write the word stats. Well, stamp the word stats. And then I'm going to switch these. Ah, look at that. That was nice. Okay. And then line it up. There we go. Stats. And I wrote down because, listen, when I set up January, I forgot to do a stats page. So I had to do it at the end of the month. And I like it at the beginning of the month. I don't know why. I really don't, but I do. So, I just wanted to make sure that I wrote a sticky note with all of my stats and everything I want to track, and I think I'm going to do it in let's do it in a, oh no, you know what, we're going to do everything in pink. I mean, it is February. color in the word stats. This is a Papermate Flare. I used to love a good felt tip flare pen. Do I anymore? Not really. But I have them, so I'm going to use them. Not that you care what, I mean, my favorite pen is a Pentel. Is my favorite pen. It just writes really smooth and doesn't skip. My mom got me a box for Christmas, and she got me a box for my birthday, so I have so many now. Okay, so we're going to start with, sorry that I'm crooked. I have to write crooked, and I don't know why. It's very uncomfortable to write any other way, so I'm very sorry. Books read, pages read, days read, and then we're going to do over here stars, and I don't want to stamp it out, so I'm just going to write down average and a line. And then 5, 4.5, 4, 3.5, 3, and then I don't usually have 2.5s or 1, so I'm just going to do 2, 1. Alright, and then we have type, physical, ebook, and I do not do the whole ebook and physical book and audio thing. I just do straight audio. I don't read and listen at the same time. And then where, so owned, since my KU is almost up, I'm going to be reading a lot more owned than I usually do. But I like to take a break from KU and let more stuff come out. Does that make sense? Because by the time I'm done with my subscription, I've read so much of like my usual authors. Does that make sense? Okay, and then most shelved, and then a line, least shelved, and a line, and then genres. So romance, LGBTQ plus, thriller, horror, YA, non-fiction, and graphic novel. So graphic novel, non-fiction, YA, horror, thriller, and romance. There we go. I can tell you already, I read one thriller and one LGBTQ romance in February. And now we need 29. This I'm going to do in pen, because I usually color it in. So just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 29. And then I'm just going to write in the number, that way I don't have to do it. And I color it in, which is what I did this past month, and it was miserable. And I'm not worried that it's like doesn't look exactly like a calendar. I don't like the calendar looks, because February started on a Thursday, right? February 1st, yeah. That was just yesterday, and I already don't remember. Which reminds me, today's my cousin's birthday. I should really text her. I also don't know. Does anybody know? Did the stupid groundhog see a shadow? Don't know. Anyway, that is it. So then I will continue on. Let me glue this down. This is why it's horrible. Please, 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 if you're going to do this, make sure you have a better quality journal, because this sucks. I feel like I'm only going to get a few months in here, so it won't matter, and then I'm just going to buy a better quality journal. If I even keep up with it. There's also that. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just end up stopping because it's too much. Just like I will no longer be making shorts of and TikToks of my filling out my reading journal. It was too much for me to handle because I read so much. If I didn't read so much, I think it would be okay, but I read 33 books. That's a lot. That's a book a day and then 2 more. So at one point I read more than 1 book a day. So it is a lot then to do all of the shorts and TikToks and everything of me filling out my journal. So I won't be doing that anymore, and I'm just going to do what I did now. You'll still see the photos of the books I read in my Journal With Me videos, and then I will do what I just did. For as long as I keep up with the journal, I will do what I just did and do a video of me setting up for the next month and going over the month before. Because look, even here, I couldn't think of any way to decorate this page. So, like, I was good in the beginning, and then it fell apart. Fell apart at the end, but that's okay. So there we go. Thank you so much for joining me today. This thing is thick already. Like, this I think is going to last me 3 months before I have to buy a new one. And then I might make a new one. I don't know. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. The next time I film, I'll have a different color desk, but the next few videos you see I've already filmed. So you won't get to see the new desk for quite a while. Anyway, till my Journal With Me next week. That's when you'll see it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe and comment down below and let me know if you read what was your favorite book that you read in January of 2024 so I can read it. I'd really like to read, like, find some new books to read. I'm always reading the same kinds of books, same authors, so let me know. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.